What's up everybody, Channel Pup here, and we've got some new Spider-Man news and announcements for both Spider-Man No Way Home and the Into the Spider-Verse sequel. So, let's get started. And just a reminder, these videos are made possible by my supporters on this platform, so if you do want to support me, be sure to hit that big, beautiful subscribe button. And be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description below. So we had a panel yesterday with the Spider-Man No Way Home villain actors. Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina, and Jamie Foxx all sat down to answer some questions about the film, sharing their experiences, what it was like to return to these roles, and it was kind of interesting to hear the perspectives on how these characters have evolved and how the filmmaking has evolved with them. For example, Willem Dafoe noted that he had to stand there for 8 hours while people put different armor panels on him to test them out and test the fitting during the making of Spider-Man 1 back in 2002, whereas today, he didn't have to do that, he just had like a body scan and the costume was made based on that. Alfred Molina mentioned how the tentacles were more or less entirely CGI this time, and this isn't the first time that we've heard that the tentacles are entirely CGI this time around, but it's interesting because there did appear to be some practical tentacles on set in one of the images from the Empire magazine release, so interested to know, how much that'll factor in. I'm guessing there's a lot less of the practical tentacles. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. And then there was Jamie Foxx, who was talking about his new design for Electro, and he very much had kind of an understanding of what they were trying to go for back in 2014, but he very much pushed that this new design is the better version because it speaks a little more for itself and it's a little less over the top. And obviously he didn't have to spend hours on end being painted in blue. So, it's safe to say that these guys had an easier time of it this time than they did the first time around. And it's just fun to see these three together. Jamie Foxx is just effortlessly cool. Alfred Molina's just a lot of fun, and Willem Dafoe, the man hasn't aged a day since 2002. I'd be very surprised if they had to use much anti-aging CGI on him. We also got some new footage of the Green Goblin throwing a pumpkin bomb at Peter. Peter being in his integrated suit and the Green Goblin being in his newly changed suit, I guess, with the purple hood and no helmet on, and I gotta say, this is pure classic Green Goblin. Definitely the closest we've ever had to the classic comic book looking Green Goblin, I would say, aside from the lack of mask or helmet. But Willem Dafoe does have all bases covered there with his very expressive face and his very cheeky grin. Now it is worth noting that it was just the three of them, just Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina, and Jamie Foxx, and it does make me wonder, could they not get Thomas Hayden Church and Rhys Ifans for this part of the press junket? Or is there any chance that maybe they're not actually in the film? I mean, we haven't seen any of them in any of the images or promo or set photos. Yes, we've seen the Lizard and the Sandman in their very much CGI forms, but we haven't seen them in their human forms whatsoever, which leads me to believe that maybe Rhys Ifans and Thomas Hayden Church aren't in this film, and maybe Sandman and the Lizard are more secondary villains, while these are the main trio. I mean, let's be real, with a project as ambitious as this, there were bound to be some compromises in there, and I'm gonna hazard a bet that not every one of these villains is going to be in the spotlight. I get the feeling it could be that the Lizard and the Sandman are now permanently in their CGI forms, which is why they're now, still in battle with Spider-Man, even after they were redeemed in their respective films. So maybe these guys did die in battle with Spider-Man, just later down the line. I'm definitely intrigued by this. I'm gonna half expect that some of the writing in this film might be just a little bit on the toilet brain side, and I don't mind that. I'm not someone that, goes too nuts over plot holes, but I can understand if people might leverage some criticism against the writing. I mean, we're already seeing some toilet brain writing in the trailers. For example, when Peter says that ever since he became Spider-Man, there's only been 1 week where things felt normal for him, and that was the week that MJ found out. That's bullshit, dude, because that was the week you were battling it out with Mysterio. And then there's just the whole characterization of Doctor Strange, as well as him saying that they've been getting visitors from every universe, and it's what? There's 2 universes? But you know how trailers chop and change dialogue and such, so we don't know what the context necessarily is going to be. So we'll see. But I'm not expecting the most cohesive story in the world from this one. But as long as it's a good story, I'm okay with some logical lapses. That will be the allowance. But flipping over, this Spider-Man film with its multiverse isn't even out yet, and Sony are already promoting the next one. No, it's not another MCU Spider-Man film, it is instead a return to the animated universe of Into the Spider-Verse. Man, we Spider-Man fans are really eating good these days. Look at it this way, we got this to look forward to. We got Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, we've got the Spider-Man 2 PS5 game, and Spider-Man Freshman Year on Disney+. A venerable smorgasbord of Spider-Man content to come, which is going to keep me busy. I sure as hell hope that I don't start to feel that Spider-Man becomes oversaturated, but I think Spider-Man is a very enduring character, and I'm not going to get tired of Spider-Man. At least I don't think so. If I do, I'll be very sad. But it's also like, it looks like there's enough creativity in these projects to keep it going, so yeah, I'm like, oh, I forgot fucking Morbius is coming up as well. But I don't care about that one. So then we have the trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Part 1? Oh, that's new, that's unexpected. And there's a part 2 expected to release in 2023. We are really eating good, aren't we? Not only was this announced, but we actually got a teaser trailer as well. How awesome, like a whole 10 months ahead of the film. That's very different to what Spider-Man No Way Home offered us. Very different kind of movie altogether, but you know, I'm not going to compare the two. These projects shouldn't be pitted against each other. I'm really excited for both. But okay, let's talk about this teaser trailer and my likes and my dislikes. Okay, well, I don't really have dislikes, but you'll see. We'll talk about it. I've got a little bit of whining to do. So it appears to take place immediately after the events of Into the Spider-Verse, where things, you know, carried off. Like, we had, you know, the ending of the first Into the Spider-Verse has Gwen calling to Miles through a portal while he's relaxing down in bed, and this trailer starts there. Except Miles appears to be older, as does Gwen. So I'm thinking that maybe this is just a subtle retcon, which I'm completely fine with, by the way. That's not a big deal to me. But there's definitely stuff here to suggest the passage of time. Gwen and Miles seem to have missed each other, their hair's a bit longer, their appearances are a little different, Miles looks a bit taller, and they have new suits, more on that later. So Gwen lands in Miles' bedroom. Well, Miles, circle, circle, dot, dot, I hope you got your cootie shot. And it's quite funny as Miles is a little embarrassed, you know, when the portal opens up, his briefs are flying around and stuff, and he's in a room with a lot of his toys and stuff, and he's trying to kind of hide it from Gwen, and she comes across a drawing that he's done of her, and it's all very awkward, but at the same time, she seems to take it all in her stride. She's cool with all of it. She finds it all rather charming. Yep, the character dynamic here is just as I remember it. You know, I love these two. So Gwen kind of wants to go on an adventure with Miles, but Miles is grounded, and I think there's going to be a theme of kind of maturity for Miles in this one, if this is anything to go by. He's in his room with all of his plushes and stuff. Hey, don't hate, alright? I'm approaching 26 years old, and I still have my plushes and my toys, and I don't care. You know, I would just hope that, you know, people are cool with that, okay? Like, what, the guy with the talking dog avatar's not gonna have a fucking kiddie room? He's not gonna be young at heart? Get out of here. It's not that I'm a hoarder. I've actually got rid of a lot of stuff, but like, this is all the precious stuff, okay? Okay. But I think that'll also be part of it as well. It's kind of like self-acceptance, accepting that Miles is young. I'm hoping he's not going to get rid of all of his stuff. I hope that's not going to be the resolution of the film. But anyways, so they go on this adventure across different dimensions, and Miles is being chased after by Spider-Man 2099 Miguel O'Hara, who's looking like a brick shithouse. I'm not sure if that's a retcon for his design, and I was not expecting him to be this violent towards Miles. Now, upon repeat rewatch, is this first location that he's chasing him through India? Are we possibly going to see the Spider-Man of India in this film? And he appears to chase him all the way through to 2099. It also appears that the different dimensions might have different art styles. I don't know if this is just like a transitional thing or not, but like, we're definitely seeing some different art styles here, which I really love. The animation is really fluid. Basically, everything I loved about the original Into the Spider-Verse is present here. Although we don't get any appearance from Peter B. Parker or anything like that, but as I say, just a teaser trailer. But yeah, it looks great. I'm super stoked for this to have a different storytelling format to what the first one did, being a two-parter. It sounds like it's going to be a much bigger story this time around. Also, it means that Miles Morales is getting his own trilogy. Isn't that nice? That means there's only one Spider-Man to not get a trilogy. I'm so sorry, Andrew Garfield. But if you guys have heard about the plot of The Amazing Spider-Man 3, If you haven't, I've made a video on it. Let me just say, Amazing Spider-Man fans, I'm sure it's in your best interests that the Amazing Spider-Man 3 was never released, because it would have broken some hearts, if the second one didn't already do that anyway. Oh, for fuck's sake, did I really just take a pot shot at TASM in a video that has nothing to do with the TASM films? Yeah, I guess we do a substantial amount of trolling here. Hopefully No Way Home will make things right for TASM fans. So as for my... I said there would be some dislikes. A little tiny bit of negativity regarding Across the Spider-Verse. Just a teensy bit. This is just me whining and nitpicking about something that's really, really trivial. So fret not, I'm fully aware of how this comes across. So Miles and Gwen have new suits. And Gwen's suit, I would say, is an upgrade. There's some slightly new details on them. There's some sort of hand warmer looking gloves on them. New shoes, and I think it looks better. I think Gwen's new suit is an improvement. Miles' new suit, on the other hand, I think is a bit of a downgrade. Now, I want to reserve my full judgment of this for when we actually get a proper look at it in the base art style. But we can see what the overall design is here, and I must admit, I definitely don't like it as much as what we had in the previous film. Now, here's some good things I have to say about it. I like the fact that they've now got a fully devoted design for this version of Miles Morales. This is not like any Miles design we've had before. It's something completely new, and I think it works fine. I also like that it's clean. They haven't overcomplicated it. They haven't gone down the direction of being over-designed. That's good stuff. But put it this way, I think the suit that Miles Morales got in the third act of Into the Spider-Verse was the perfect reinterpretation of the classic Miles Morales suit. It took everything that looked awesome about that classic Miles Morales design and made it speak for the character a little more with that spray-painted aesthetic. Now again, I reserve some of my judgment until the movie, because maybe there might be an explanation for this new suit that actually does speak for the character of Miles. The spray paint aesthetic is still kinda there, but not quite, in that there's a ring around the spider on the chest, and that appears to be spray painted, but the spider on the chest and back no longer has the spray paint aesthetic. I'm also not sure if he's going to have webs this time on his costume. I really hope he does. And that classic Miles Morales red design around the shoulders and the chest and everything is gone in favor of putting these red stripes on the insides of the limbs and such, and I definitely don't like that as much, but I appreciate what they're going for. I think there is probably a good middle ground between these two designs. I think the thing I'm really just bummed out about is, as I say, I thought the previous suit was perfect. I didn't think they needed to change it. And as well as that, he didn't get that suit until the very end of the first film, which means it's got very little screen time overall for what is a great suit design. But the truth be told, I can just ogle that suit all day long by popping in Spider-Man Miles Morales on my PS4 and playing as that suit. But still, I don't know, slightly bittersweet pill to swallow there. As I say, it's a whine, it's a nitpick. This suit is by no means bad. I like the fact that they didn't go down the route of over-designing it or any shit like that. Like, if you're going to evolve that suit design, this is a fine direction to go in. I just think, you know, the big crime is that it's not as good as the previous one. I might be wrong once we get a better look at it, though. I'm not ruling that out. So, and I'm definitely glad that the overall shape of the eyes and that we still got the red ring around the spider. Like, I'm glad that they've kept some of the elements that made the original great. I hope we get a better look at it soon. As for 2099, holy fuck does he look different to what I expected. I'm wondering if this is the same Spider-Man 2099 that we saw in the after credits for the first film, because this is definitely a different design. Also, he's very blue. So blue. And there is a common misconception about Spider-Man 2099's suit, is that it's supposed to be blue and red. It's actually not. Like, if you read, like, the descriptions and stuff in the books and everything, it is supposed to be black and red, but, like, I gotta admit, when you have it next to Miles, it makes sense to make it blue. So, like, yeah, while it does feed into a misconception, yeah, I don't mind it. Honestly, it looks good. If they want to redefine it as it actually is blue and red as opposed to being black with blue highlights, it's fair enough. This is just me being a little nerdy. In fact, incredibly nerdy. But hey, you know, we like to go into these things, you know, we like to drill a little deep here. Giggity. But yeah, other than the few reservations I have about the costume design department, like, this looks like another home run of a Spider-Man film. Get it? Because the third MCU one was rumored to be called Home Run. Anyways, yeah, this looks like a good-ass movie. It's a good-ass teaser. I'm really stoked. I'm really excited to be a Spider-Man fan. What a time to be alive. But what do you guys think? Are you as stoked as I am? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and I'll check them out. But until the next time, fuck off. So what do you guys think? If you enjoyed this video and you want to support more like it, be sure to hit that big, beautiful subscribe button. And of course, in the description below are links to different social media feeds, including the Patreon. If you're feeling extra generous, like the following people, who are JK Strife, Marcus Ward, Sirius the Skeptic, Biotin Arts, Mr. SP, David 20 Covers, Sergio, George is Lost, Legendary Ray Ray, Cheesemaster769, Adam Myers, and Fayalan Schwarzentraub. Thank you guys, you are the best of the best, but as for the rest of you, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.